Welcome to the 20th Weekly Brisbane Update. We've got info on another thing that is more expensive here than in any other Aussie capital, some insight into Brisbane City Council's financials, brief 2032 updates, and I've also got some movie tickets to an intense new Aussie film to give away. So let's go. First up, a report from Ray White Commercial has named Brisbane as the Australian capital with the most expensive parking in its CBD. While the average price for parking dropped in Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne city centres from 2023 to 2024, by the end of 2024, Sydney had seen an 8.7% reduction, which meant that Brisbane's 3.4% drop was not enough to stop it overtaking Sydney as the most expensive, with an average price of $79.83 per day. Sydney's average is $77.67 per day, and Melbourne is over $10 cheaper than that at $67.49. On a more positive note, Brisbane's early bird parking discounts were the second highest nationally, and discounts for booking online were the highest, so it's not all bad news. While we're on a financial theme, this week Brisbane City Council released details of the latest quarterly report, which they say confirms the Shriner Council's commitment to spending within its means. Their release says that the council is on track to deliver a 10% operating surplus and that spending has been kept under control with an almost $470 million decrease in expenditure. However, the opposition, led by Councillor Jared Cassidy, says that the report shows project delays pushed into next year, essentially kicking the can down the road when it comes to council expenses, and that year-to-date depreciation and amortisation sits at $370 million, almost two-thirds of all of the claimed infrastructure spend. They say that it's a case of clever accounting to make the budget line look better. A couple of updates relating to federal government financial support for key Brisbane infrastructure, and this week on a visit to Brisbane, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has said that as far as restoration of the Story Bridge goes, the Story Bridge should not have been allowed to fall into disrepair. An interview on ABC Radio did not give much hope to the federal funds being allocated to the restoration of the bridge.
But the primary responsibility for this is the Brisbane City Council. And my government will, of course, always look at submissions, but it is important. This is a local road. We have $7.2 billion for the Bruce Highway that is part of the National Highway. And so with regard to the Story Bridge, the Commonwealth Government's responsibility isn't to fix everything and fund everything.
And then there's the matter of $3.44 billion the federal government had pledged to funding the Brisbane Live Arena. When the Crisafulli state government shifted funding for the arena to the private sector, that put a question mark over if the funding would be allocated to other Olympic Games infrastructure or even withdrawn. Well, the Prime Minister has said that they are still keen to support the Games, but they'll need more detail before making a decision on where to send the funds. Federal Sports Minister Annika Wells had said that there needed to be clear value for money to justify the use of federal funds, which is something they had seen in the arena. Of course, as always, we'll keep an eye on things on the Brisbane Channel to see where the money ends up going. To be honest, I can't think of a way to smoothly segue from that to termites, but they are nasty little critters that you really don't want to be causing damage to your home. And the sponsor of this video, EPM Pest Control, are offering a free termite risk assessment as well as a 10% discount on any of their services. These guys really do know their stuff, so if you want to keep your place safe or deal with any pest infestations, click this QR code or the link in the description and they'll get it sorted. And while we're on Olympics infrastructure, a bit more detail on the proposed stadium at Victoria Park. No doubt it will be going ahead, but while the specific part of the park the stadium will be built in has still not been decided, submissions to date indicate it's likely to be in one of three locations. The first submission made for a stadium in Victoria Park was to Graham Quirk's 60-day review last year by Brisbane firm Blight Rayner Architecture. It placed a stadium in the northeast corner of the park, across from the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital. Then, of course, there was Archipelago's Brisbane Bold submission, which had the stadium a little further south by the inner city bypass. And the third possibility is the southwestern corner, which is where the stadium sits in the artistic render released by the state government in its 2032 delivery plan. Make sure you're subscribed and the Brisbane Channel will keep you updated as the details are revealed. I'm going to try a new segment in the weekly updates called Quick Bites, where I update you on goings-on across the LGAs that don't need as much detail so that I can include more small updates without overloading you with information. The first quick bite is that there will be track closures between Northgate and Shorncliffe stations on the Shorncliffe line, starting from 2 a.m. Monday the 2nd of June and ending at 2 a.m. on Friday the 6th of June. The closure is for testing of the new European train control system for the Cross River Rail. That section will also be closed at these times on these dates. Rail bus R348 will run between Shorncliffe and Northgate stations during the closures. Next, the Brisbane Roar A-League Football Club CEO Kaz Patafta has said the future of the club is secure despite the Australian Tax Office applying for the club to be shut down over an outstanding six-figure tax debt the Roar owes. Patafta has said that the money owed is a historical debt from the former management and that they have a plan that will resolve the issues shortly. In Moreton Bay, the council have announced the principal contractor for the Youngs Crossing upgrade, civil construction company Seymour White Constructions, and have said that work will begin in June for completion in 2027. Moreton Bay have also announced a 7-year deal with Table Tennis Queensland to establish the new Table Tennis Centre of Excellence in the recently redeveloped South Pine Indoor Sports Centre, which will offer high-performance coaching, training, pathways and major events on new Olympic-grade tables. June will see Moreton Bay host Make Music Month, which is a month-long event featuring free performances, live music, jam sessions, workshops and more. I've put a link in the video description. Logan City Council has announced plans for Waterford West District Park, a 6-hectare recreational park that will feature a free water play zone, a shaded adventure playground, barbecues and sheltered seating, as well as walking trails. It will be funded by all 3 levels of government. Logan City Council won the Excellence in Sustainability category of the Local Government Managers Australia Queensland Awards for Excellence for their Green Fleet strategy. Redland City Council's Geographic Information System team has won the Excellence in Collaboration category for their response to Tropical Cyclone Alfred in March. Also announced in the last week, Redland City Council have voted unanimously to join the planning groups of the Southern Thornlands Priority Development Area, so that they can advocate for the Council's position on land use, infrastructure and community needs. They maintain that all associated costs for the development must be borne by the state government. Now it's time for the movie tickets giveaway. This time it's for an intense thriller shot not far from here on the Gold Coast. Trapped at sea, hunted below, nowhere to run. From the cult horror Aussie filmmaker Sean Byrne comes Dangerous Animals, a relentless edge-of-your-seat survival thriller that follows a shark-obsessed serial killer.
What is this? Where are we?
We're on his boat.
Whose boat?
I don't think you want to know.
You're a fighter. I love fighters. Makes for a better show.
Right places, please. And action.
Tell me that ain't the greatest show on earth.
It's in cinemas June 12, and I have 5 Admit 2 tickets to give away compliments of Kismet movies. Channel members that apply will get 3 entries in the draw, while regular viewers and subscribers will get a single entry each. Just email adam@thebrizzychannel.com with Dangerous Animals in the subject field and your full name in the email body. I'll draw the winners in a live stream on Friday evening at 7 p.m. Now could be a good time to start supporting the channel as a member, which gets you more entries in draws like this, but also things like early and ad-free access to most videos on the channel and extra content, as well as a monthly What's On list of hundreds of events happening across Greater Brisbane. That's it for this week. See you in the next video.